Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pop Pop Fizzle podcast, officially called Pop Pop Culture, we believe. And I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And it's been a while.
It's been a really long time.
That's really the first thing we have to talk about.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
For the regular viewers that we've had and the casual...
The two of you.
Yeah, the two of you, and then the casual subscribers. Yeah, Mary and Randy, we're talking to you.
Right. Shout out to Mary and Randy. Mm-hmm. I've never met Mary and Randy, by the way. That's completely irrelevant to what we're talking about. So, yeah, if you've been paying attention, which probably you haven't because there are better things to do with your time right now, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I don't know if you've been made aware of this.
What?
Yeah, there's stuff out there in the world. You're a nurse. You should have heard of this.
What?
Anyway, so we have taken a short... it's not even short now. It's been a while.
Like a 6-month hiatus.
Leave of absence from our channel because we were planning a big move.
Big one.
And I believe we mentioned that on the channel several times. We had made a move, which actually the luxurious apartment you see behind you is actually where we've moved to.
Yeah. It was supposed to just be a puddle jump.
That's right.
Just a little... A
layover.
Yeah, layover. 1 year layover before we made a bigger move across the country. And with the events of everything going on...
What are you talking about?
What?
Huh? Yeah, with everything going on in the world, it didn't seem like a good time to move. Something about...
global pandemic?
2020 in general. Even before the pandemic, 2020 was not shaping up really well.
I've seen that meme where, the guy from Ant-Man, what's his name? I don't remember it.
Which guy from Ant-Man?
The one who narrates stuff.
Oh, Luis?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen the one where he's narrating 2020, and I'm like, yeah, he's not wrong. We started out with almost World War III, then the world was on fire, and then we had, what else? Something else happened in between then, and then global pandemic, and then murder hornets, and, people are thinking Godzilla's going to come back, and that we're going to, and then, the Pentagon released like UFO files and nobody cared, that thing.
I believe it may be an urban myth, but I believe you have to look dead into the eyes of a murder hornet in order to see the Snyder Cut of the Justice League. But no, we have taken a break because we thought we were going to be moving. So we had most of our possessions have been in storage. I say most, but we have a lot in storage.
We do.
We have a lot that we moved here that we didn't bother to unpack because why?
Yeah.
It was a layover. And now we find ourselves not moving, at least for another year. So we are basically trying to make do with what we have and get back to doing what we like to do for you, which is to talk about all things pop culture, movies, comics, TV, you name it. But yeah, it's been a while, and so we wanted to do some new things. We'll be talking about that as the podcast continues. We're going to do some new things with the YouTube channel. We're going to do some new things off the YouTube channel. Yep. And we're going to do stuff like this podcast. So there may be portions of this podcast on YouTube, just depending on the content and what we want to share on YouTube.
Yep.
But the podcast will be a separate thing. And really the reason for that is Heidi and I found whenever we would do movie reaction, sometimes we'd chase a rabbit into a different discussion altogether, and we felt like we couldn't really do that. We needed to keep it focused on whatever the topic at hand was.
Stay on target.
We also felt like, sometimes news was breaking that we wanted to talk about, but we didn't really have a reaction or a trailer for it to go along with, so it didn't really fit into a video that we already had planned. So a podcast is just a way where she and I can sit at a table. I wish you could see this table. It's very tiny. She and I are sitting directly across from each other.
Yeah, but if we could just we'd probably be able to touch.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so we basically decided that a podcast might be a really good format for us to talk about all those things that kind of slip through the cracks when we're doing videos. Now, we have a very temporary setup here. We're on a folding table. I have another folding table with a soundboard on it. So if you hear us tapping keys or setting drinks down or whatever, it's because really that's all we have right now. I've got the camera sort of suspended between us, filming both of us. But so this is not a permanent setup. If you hear some of those noises, please be forgiving for these first couple as we get attuned to this new situation. So why we're doing the podcast, as we said, is just we've got more stuff to talk about than we can usually do on a video. Yep. The absence from YouTube was kind of frustrating because we continued to see movies. We continued to want to talk about them with you guys, and we just didn't really have the time or the wherewithal to make that happen most of the time. So hopefully we'll get more reinstalled into YouTube as time goes on. But right now, because of this world event that we keep talking around, right now we just don't have any movies to see or review unless we stream them at home. And I know some of the online reviewers that we appreciate and watch, from your Jeremy Johns to your Chris Stuckman to, some of these guys are still doing reviews, and
they're changing their format too.
Yeah, and they're changing their format a little to take these sort of stream release only things to heart. We may do some of that as time goes on. We're kind of right now just treading water to see what happens with theaters. We're in this weird period of time where some things are opening up, but not to capacity. I don't know about you, but movie theater, not my first choice of places to go.
No, I mean,
as I make my way out into the world, as much as I love movies.
Like right before everything started closing down, we locally saw somebody.
We won't mention the name.
We won't mention the name, but somebody filmed a theater near us in our metropolitan.
One that we frequented often for our reviews.
Yeah, so in our metropolitan area, wherein there was a rat just rolling around, eating all the stuff that it found.
Oh, yeah.
It was gross. And so, movie theaters really have to step it up to kind of make people feel more comfortable being there. I saw an article today talking about, or maybe we talked about it, I'm not sure, how, like, theaters should start doing, like, limited viewings, like a premium price for, like, small family units that have already been around each other, and then offer cleaning in between. And so that might be a way for them to kind of get their premium price back if people really desperately want to see something in a theater. But I don't feel like we're there yet.
I think the danger for theaters, and that I don't want to get too far into this because it's kind of into the weeds, but I think the danger for theaters is the same danger that they had before this happened, which is that they are highly overpriced when you consider that you can get the same sort of experience. TVs are bigger than they've ever been. Those big TVs are cheaper than they've ever been in a lot of cases. And, now that doesn't discount the notion of, there's nothing like, honest to God, there's nothing like sitting in a theater and watching a movie like Avengers Endgame and feeling the surge of energy and the waves of emotions coming off of a live audience while you're experiencing this thing together.
For the first time.
That can't be discounted. No. So that's not what we're talking about. It's not the same experience sitting at home and watching a movie. That's not the argument. The argument is, for a lot of people who don't feel about movies as strongly as we feel about movies, they don't go to a movie like Endgame and get emotional. They don't go to, it's just, for them, it's just a way to kill 2 hours and see the new thing that everybody's going to be talking about around the water cooler. For people that feel that way, for them, they're paying for a big screen and some popcorn. And for those people, if they can get that big screen and popcorn at home and have a few people that they like next to them to laugh with them and enjoy the movie, that's enough for them. So the theaters are already fighting that battle, especially in the age of Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and Disney Plus and all of those streaming services available. HBO Max is coming, Peacock. There's all of these services, Apple Plus. So
the theater chains are really going to have to, or the distribution houses are really going to have to work on figuring out how to overcome that and make the money that they were expecting to make.
And as much as I love theaters, it was easy for me because I love the experience to turn a blind eye to some stray popcorn in the corner of the walkway or having to brush a few kernels out of my seat before I sat down or whatever. It was easy to do that. Now,
no way.
People are going to be really aware of any uncleanliness happening in that theater. And for most people, that's not a risk they're going to be willing to take for a while.
Yep.
And even as moviegoers, the way Heidi and I go. I mean, I was making the most of my A-list and hitting as many movies as I could. Shout out to AMC for the A-list thing. So, we would make use of that constantly. Mm-hmm. And I'm still, like, as much as I miss that experience, I'm not there yet. We have a theater not far from where we live. Like, literally, we can look out the window and see it. And they still have not really done much. And it was weird because they were packed before all this happened. And it's weird to see that parking lot empty.
It's very strange.
Going forward, I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of this means for the industry. I don't know what it means for, clearly it's a good thing for streaming. I mean, these streaming services are putting out content that they had planned in some cases for the big screen, and they just moved it straight to streaming. And we're seeing like tons of downloads and lots of activity for that, and lots of purchases. I mean, some of those things dropped at like $19.99 to rent a movie. Yeah, which seems ridiculous to me. But when you think about the fact that two people would have spent $20 to go to the movie theater and see it anyway,
without the popcorn and drinks,
sure, then they were making plenty of money. I know Trolls World Tour did big money, which I think is why they made the move to drop Scoob when they did. And I don't think that worked out nearly as well.
No.
But that said, I think the whole industry is going to be looking at all the data that's coming from what's happening in the world, what was happening in theaters before this happened, and then they're going to be, as they reopen, they're going to have to find, we keep hearing that buzz phrase, new normal. Yeah. Don't like it.
Nope.
But the point is, I think it for sure is an industry that's going to have to find a new normal.
Yeah, they're going to the ones that are going to make it are the ones that are going to be nimble enough to make it work for them. What was that movie service that we had before we did the AMC A-list that you did?
They shall not be named.
Who shall not be named? God,
Movie Pass.
Okay, they cannot possibly.
I don't believe they're in business anymore.
They can't possibly be in business anymore. Their model was terrible even before everything happened, and then they changed it every week. So
that's us kicking names and taking whatever. Yeah. So I don't know how any of that's going to work, and so that affects us because we want to review films and we want to talk about trailers and all of those things because we're excited by those things, but because all of that is kind of shifting terrain right now, we're looking at some new things that we can do for Pop Pop Fizzle, as well as something like this podcast where we can talk about things in a different format.
Yeah, and the thing is, we'll keep an eye on. Obviously, everyone's going to know what's happening if they're interested in like entertainment business at all. But we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll try to figure out how we can make whatever the new normal is fit in with our show.
Sure. I have some thoughts about some things that I want to do once travel is possible again.
Ooh, travel.
I know. I've got some friends that I would love to sit down and show some really bad movies to. I won't say which ones.
Oh, that's gonna be
I won't say which friends or which movies, but
that's gonna be so great.
I would love to subject some of them to.
Well, certainly we could probably do like synchronized viewing, like a lot of our
possibly
YouTubers have been watching.
Possibly
get them to get it available to them somehow.
Yeah.
Said movies.
It wouldn't be the same though. I would like to be in a room with
this is true.
For some of those. But the theater shutdowns and kind of the slow reopenings, and again, every state is different. So right now in Texas, I think theaters can be open up to a certain capacity.
I don't feel like that. I feel like a lot of the theaters feel like the capacity that they can be open to is not worth it for them.
Right. And so a lot of theaters are still closed. I think some of those restrictions are changing week to week. So I don't know what it's like in your neck of the woods, but every state seems to be a little bit different as to how they're handling this. And but the theater shutdowns and slow reopenings and things have affected movies and when they're coming out. I know you and I haven't talked about this, but one of the movies that was about to come out before all this went down was the new Mutants, which had been on hold for 2 years.
Well, I remember, yeah.
That's a little over 2 years.
That's right. Like a lot of those people in that had actually been in other movies that had already come out.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. I believe Maisie Williams had just finished filming Game of Thrones when she went to go film that movie. And I think... shoot, I can't remember who all is in that movie, but yeah, I know they were super excited about that movie. Fox was, or when it came out, or when it was in the works, and then everything happened with Fox and Marvel. That put everything on hold.
Yep.
Then they restructured. Everybody said, "When's New Mutants coming? When's that thing happening?" And then they finally put a release date on it, and it was speeding toward theaters just before the world shut down.
Yep.
And now I think they've pushed it to August.
Let's see. It was finally set to come to theaters. I am on inverse.com. It was set to go on April 2nd, and no release date. This is one day ago. No release date in sight.
Oh, no,
until now.
Yeah, they did put a release date on it. I just read it like a couple of days ago. I think
August 28th.
August 28th. Okay. So when that announcement came out, I remember thinking, I'm not sure people will be going to theaters in droves by August 28th.
Nope.
I could be wrong, and no shame on anybody handling any of this the way that they feel like they need to handle it, but it's not going to be first on my list of priorities, and I would like to see this movie.
Yeah, no, I feel like August is still too soon.
So that one, when I think of movies that really got dunked on by this whole thing, that's one, because it was already struggling to get out, and I don't think it has anything to do with the quality of the movie. I think it has everything to do with bad timing. Now, do I know that the movie's going to be great? Nope. Don't. But I don't know that it's going to be bad either, and I think that so much of what delayed this thing was the Marvel Disney, or the Disney purchase of Fox, and then this pandemic. So it's just had one rug pulled out from under it after another.
And you gotta really, root for them just a little bit to know that it's worth it for them to have waited this long.
Sure.
But I've seen, like, just in searching for the new date, like, people are talking about maybe just dropping it to streaming already, and letting it get out that way.
Right.
And I feel like that might be a better option for them.
It would be a shame, though, really, because, I mean, a lot of people were looking forward to seeing that film, and to my eyes, it looks better than the last couple of X-Men movies we got. So I could be wrong. Trailers can be deceiving, but I was definitely excited about a horror-tinged version of an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is that not every film is the same when it comes to how it's responded to this news. So for every Trolls World Tour that just got dropped to streaming and did great by all accounts, there's other movies that were pushed way off into the distance. I know Marvel films got rearranged quite a bit, which is really going to affect us going into Phase 4.
Yeah.
You had some dates, some move dates, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, and it's just like so here we go. We've got Black Widow coming out November 6th.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be in May.
Yeah. So they moved it back. I think it said it's picking up the Eternals spot where the Eternals were going to be placed in the release dates.
Right.
So let's see.
You don't know anything about the Eternals, do you, dear?
Is that the thing that's got? I want to say there's somebody who's got like a name that's got black in it.
The Black Knight?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's going to be in it.
Okay, and then
by all accounts.
Is there is a Nova person supposed to be in that?
Not that I'm aware of.
And then like the guy that was supposedly like they were.
Her eyes are closed. She's really thinking.
I know. Adam
Warlock?
Yeah.
No,
not that one.
If Adam Warlock shows up, I imagine that'll be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because James Gunn's teased him quite a bit.
Okay, so the Eternals is moved from November to February 12th, 2021.
Okay.
Okay, and let's see. Yeah.
The Eternals is one of those films, much like Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out, that I think people don't know what to make of it. I think people aren't familiar with the property. The Black Knight is not an Eternal, by the way.
But he's
just a character that they've decided that needs to be in this story. But I hope that it falls in that same line like Guardians of the Galaxy did, that people go in because they don't have any real expectation, and then it just knocks everybody's socks off. That's my hope. But I don't know.
Too. I mean, Marvel has really proven themselves with that so far. They have just steamrolled right ahead with all.
Nobody wanted to see an Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, and they've done two.
Yeah.
So
nobody wanted to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Thought that was they were going to jump the shark.
And then they
with
had
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And they had 2, and they're planning a 3rd.
And they're planning a 3rd, and they were a huge part of Infinity War and Endgame. So,
They sure were.
yeah, I just Marvel certainly has earned some trust on my side of things.
Yeah. May 7th, 2021, so 1 year from now, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And that's another property. I think you mentioned it before, and of course, I don't remember what you said about it, but it was another one of those where people don't know enough about it, but it's probably really important.
Yeah, Shang-Chi is a master of martial arts.
Is he like the Iron Fist?
He's kind of around the same sort of street level Marvel Comics from the 70s vibe. Yeah. Okay. And he was not too long ago a part of the Avengers. And he first with Steve Rogers' sort of Secret Avengers, and then into the big
guns
Avengers world storyline that was going on, where there were multiple Avengers teams and all kinds of shenanigans. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited for that one as well, because I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, who knows how big or small they're going to make it.
And we're hearing rumors that while we're still on Marvel news, MCU news, we're hearing rumors that because Doctor Strange is going to open up sort of into the supernatural realm more, there have been rumors for a while now that WandaVision, the Disney Plus series, is going to, and possibly Loki, are both going to lead up and build to Doctor Strange. But there's also a rumor that Doctor Strange is going to be the vehicle through which we get the Ghost Riders and the Blades and all of the supernatural tinge, or possibly even Moon Knight. He's not a supernatural character himself, per se, but he has supernatural ties because of the god Khonshu and all that stuff. So it would be definitely interested to. I would be definitely interested to see how they use something like Doctor Strange, because it is called In the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And then I've heard other rumors, which I have a hard time with, but I have heard rumors that could be how they work in X-Men. It could be how they work in Fantastic Four, that they're from other Earths and find their way to ours
somehow
or whatever. I feel like that would be a little bit of a cheat. I would rather have a better introduction for them.
Yeah, maybe. And then, yeah, definitely need a better introduction, but maybe while things are still on odd footing, they're just kind of leaving that open.
And can I just say that if John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are not Reed and Sue Richards, I may riot. Just saying.
All right, a quiet riot then.
Yes. No, nobody likes a quiet riot, honey.
Well, how about just a quiet place?
There you go.
Yeah. And we have Spider-Man 3 coming out in November 2021, and it looks like it was the previous release date for the Doctor Strange sequel.
Okay. So, see, everything just got pushed back to the next available date.
February 11th, 2022, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Okay.
I still don't know what to make of that name.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting. Yep, March 25th, 2022, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And let's see, there seems to be more here.
2022 is going to be a busy year, I believe, for Marvel.
May 2022, Black Panther 2.
Yep.
July 2022, Captain Marvel 2.
Yep.
Yup. All right, let's see what else.
They're not going to quit until they have the top 5 spots in any given quarter.
Of course. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is still undated.
Okay.
So they haven't put a...
Well, we know, just from following James Gunn's Twitter account, we know that he had finished with Suicide Squad. So filming for that was finished, and he's been working on editing from home with the editors and stuff. So he's been doing that. So the work progresses there, and Guardians is his next project. So.
Awesome. Marvel Studios is also working on a new Blade movie.
Right.
So that's there. Do we have any thoughts on who the casting for Blade is supposed to be?
Marshall Ali.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they cast him already.
Excellent.
Yeah, we really liked him in the first season of Luke Cage. He was awesome in that.
He was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a great baddie. And I think that is the end of this timeline. So there we go.
Okay.
So everything just shoved out like 6 to 9 to 12 months from where it was, just depending on, Marvel likes certain months for their things, so they went ahead and put them in those months.
And also outside of Marvel, but still in the DC camp, I know they pushed Mulan back.
Mm-hmm.
and some other movies that they had scheduled just got kind of pushed back because Mulan was supposed to be out.
It was supposed to be out.
Was it April?
I feel like it was April.
Yeah.
Like, no, March 27th. I remember because I was thinking we would take our daughter to go see it, but she had things going on that weekend.
Gotcha. Except that she didn't.
Because everything closed.
Right. That is, before we move into the next sort of topic at hand, that's something that, our channel is about pop culture. It's silliness. It ultimately doesn't matter. But where it does matter is that in times like this, we all need things to sort of escape to. And we don't have our usual escapes, a lot of us, So maybe your escape was running down and picking up a mochaccino or something on the fly. Maybe it was going to a yoga class or cycling class or anything. Maybe it was just getting together with friends to go see a movie, and those things have been sort of removed from the equation. So we always try to keep our show positive, and we try to keep it clean for the whole family. Sometimes we react to trailers that are not for the whole family, but we try to keep our thoughts in that zone, but mainly just because we want to stay positive. And so we hope that wherever you are in all of this, whether you're stuck at home or holed up with family or more isolated than that, that you do what you need to do for your own mental health and safety. Don't be alone with fear and scary thoughts and stuff like that. If you need somebody, there are still numbers to call. There are still people to reach out to. Everybody, whether you're struggle with mental health on a daily basis or not, or whether you're somebody who normally is fine and happy-go-lucky as you can be, and even situational stress doesn't tend to rock your boat. Everybody right now is in a weird position that we have never found ourselves in before, and that's okay. It's okay to be shaken by the craziness that's happening in the world.
It's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. And it's what I hope is that things like Pop Pop Fizzle on YouTube, or this podcast or whatever that Heidi and I do together, that we are giving you a place to just be okay and just veg and I don't care if we're never going to be the news breakers. We're never going to break the story and it's literally just two goofy people who happen to love each other and live together and have been married for a good while now, sharing our thoughts on the stuff that we love. That's literally it.
That's it.
And so we invite you to be a part of this, whether it's in podcast form or on YouTube, because, we love what we love, and we love talking about it, and we're just kind of inviting you into the party. So if you're feeling alone, you can always come here. You can always listen to us. We try to respond to as many comments on YouTube as possible, and we're still feeling out this podcast thing, but we try to respond as much as possible. So we appreciate every comment. We pay attention to those things. It's been a little more difficult of late just because of everything happening in the world, but now that we're getting our channel moving again, we want to be there for you as well. We're not psychiatrists, psychologists. We can't offer that kind of help, but we can listen. We can be here. We can provide a space for you to be okay. And nobody is ever going to say rude things to you in comments without them getting the boot. That's how we operate things. So you're safe to come and comment on our stuff. Always. We don't have any sponsors. This is not that kind of podcast yet. And, we would love to get there just so we can keep it going. But
wait.
Yes, but we're not there yet. I will, however, tell you that my latest book from last year is available on my website, jpatricklamar.com. It's called Shadow Plays. Right now, actually, and I've been putting them on our Pop Pop Fizzle channel, so if it's been a while since you've been there, go and check that out. I have been doing readings from my story, my novella, The Witches of Greyfolk. I've been doing a chapter or two at a time. And then there's a free download link there as well if you want to read along. So If you're looking for something to read or you just want to doze off hearing my somber tones, you are more than welcome to download that and to listen to me. Heidi dozes off all the time when I'm talking to her. It would not offend me in the least if you used me to fall asleep.
This is a true story.
That's right. Usually when I'm trying to get her to watch something that I really care about. That's how
I generally want to watch those things too, but when the slumber comes, I can't help it.
When the slumber comes. That sounds like a bluegrass song that I would never know about.
Silent slumber?
Sure. I don't know.
Never silent.
So we're going to, we wanted to move in to talk about what we are doing with our time as we're sheltering in place, and poor Heidi is still having to work. I'm
essential.
Yeah, she's an essential worker because people don't stop having children.
Never.
But we have been spending our time together binging TV shows, which I know a lot of you have too. That's one of the things I definitely want to hear from you in the comments is, what are you watching and what do you recommend that we watch? We're going to talk about a few of the things that we have been watching, then we're going to tell you about some new things that we're going to do with the channel, and maybe you can help us out with some things there. We've been binging a lot of television. We started just before the shelter-in-place thing happened watching The Stranger.
Ooh,
yeah. We're watching that on Netflix, right? That's a Netflix thing.
I think so.
Based on a novel, I believe, of the same name. And I just kind of stumbled upon it one night and told Heidi about it. I watched the first episode by myself and then told Heidi about it. And the next time she was off, we watched it together and fell into it.
And it was like maybe, 8 episodes?
I think so, something like that.
So not really time intensive if you just have a day that you just want to sit and watch one thing. This could be that thing, and it's very watchable in that fashion. But It's also watchable, 2 at a time, 4 at a time, whatever you want to do.
And it never got old for me. Like I never felt like I had it figured out. No. And every time I would feel like maybe I'd figured out a piece of it, something would shift, and I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't figure that out. I did not have that.
I did not see that coming."
And similar to, and I don't want to make comparisons because your comparisons may be completely different, but if I were to make a comparison, I would say there were parts of it that reminded me of the first season of Broadchurch, only in the sense that I felt like the more we got to know the characters in that show, the more everybody had a secret and the more suspicious everybody was.
Yes.
And I like that. I like not feeling like I'm ahead of the story.
Right. Yeah, I really didn't. So no spoilers, but I really did not see how it was coming to a close when it did. Like, I didn't see that coming.
Right. And for me, as a writer, it's really hard for me to turn that part of my brain off. Like, I'm always thinking about what I would do or where a turn could happen. So it's always nice for me as a viewer when I can realize that I'm not ahead of the story. I'm not ahead there. And there were a few things that I could get ahead of for like a second, and then by the end of the episode, they would have turned it on me.
I might have been ahead by a line.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So that show we would definitely recommend. We had a good time with that. Of course, The Mandalorian, everybody, I think, was watching as soon as Disney Plus dropped. That was kind of the first thing
that was
out of the gate.
That was the headliner.
Yeah. We did finish that. Now we're watching the behind-the-scenes stuff that Disney Plus is releasing.
Just really great watching. Just even as much as we enjoyed The Mandalorian for what it was and the production value of it, seeing how they did everything behind the scenes was just like the care that they put into how they did their sets and how they made their armor, and all of that was just really amazing to see. And it's just on episode 2 of the behind the scenes right now.
3.
Okay.
We watched The Actors, which was the episode.
That's
third
right.
episode.
Okay. So
episode 2 has that great Dave Filoni talk at the end. I know that portion of that episode has gone around the internet quite a bit.
I would listen to Dave Filoni talk about Star Wars for 9 hours straight if he would do it.
Right. And it doesn't change. I saw some people on Twitter arguing. Of course, that's what Twitter's for.
What?
I saw some people on Twitter arguing that, it doesn't matter that he said all those things because it should have been in the movie. And I get that. But I think the argument is that it is in the movie. It may not be as spelled out as some people would like it. But yeah, his speech definitely, the prequels are not, I won't say that they're my favorite, but I will say that some of the prequels, with the additional sort of backstory that we get with the Clone Wars series, the Clone Wars definitely made me appreciate the prequels more. But Filoni's discussion there at the end of that second episode really kind of nailed home what George Lucas was going for. Now, you can argue all day about whether he succeeded in it or not, but man, I was really captivated, and like Heidi said, yeah, I could totally listen to Dave Filoni talk Star Wars anytime,
all day long.
So we did watch The Mandalorian. We finished that. Loved that. Totally excited for season 2, especially given some of the rumors swirling around in casting news.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the casting news that we've been hearing.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff is going to be in season 2,
which
has
been
confirmed.
Amazing.
She confirmed that.
Amazing.
Returning as her character Bo-Katan from the Clone Wars. If you have not watched the Clone Wars, Heidi, tell them.
You are missing out. Also, it's canon.
Right. There's a lot of discussion. A lot of people get real feisty about that, and we don't want to be. Star Wars has become one of those fandoms that has its own share of toxicity. We're not trying to add to that. Never want to do that. But I will say that if your argument is that you don't want to watch cartoons and you don't want to watch animated things to understand canon, we can't help you there. You're going to be missing important things because whether you like them or not, those things are canon. Disney gets to decide what's canon and what's not. So they own the IP. While it's great to be a fan and it's great to have your notion of what canon is, official canon is whatever Disney says it is. And they include Clone Wars and Rebels and The Resistance and those shows into their canon, as well as comics and novels and all kinds of things. So there are parts of canon that I don't know because I haven't read as many novels as I would like to. There are parts of canon that I don't know because I haven't watched every single animated thing. I know Forces of Destiny was not a thing that I finished.
No, and they were like 2-3 minute things, or maybe 5-6 minutes. So it's not really, they were like little snippets and really nice to see. But even if they are canon, I don't feel like I'm missing out on much by not seeing all of them.
Right. Now, I enjoyed, I know you didn't watch it, but I enjoyed The Resistance. Mm-hmm. It's not top tier for me. It's not something that I would just blanketly recommend to anybody. Blanketly. I don't know why I said that. I wouldn't. It's not a blanket recommend. I wouldn't just throw it out to anybody.
I can say that as an adverb, blanketly.
Blanketly.
Yes.
So I understand that not all of those things are going to be to your liking, and that's fine. You don't have to partake of every single element of canon to be a Star Wars fan. Nobody's saying that. Well, there may be some people on Twitter saying that. Don't listen to them. But
also, Disney is not a sponsor.
Right. We've said their name several times. Please don't hurt us, Mouse. But if you haven't watched Clone Wars, if you haven't watched Rebels, you're missing some big pockets of canon that actually do come into play in movies like Solo, in movies like Rogue One.
Yep.
And really into all of the film. I mean, as I said, the Clone Wars has made me appreciate so much the prequels more than I ever did before. It gives a lot of context to some of those things. It's hard to, in a 2-hour movie, make you believe that two men have a brotherly relationship when you've got like a million things to accomplish in that 2 hours. But with the Clone Wars, watching Anakin and Obi-Wan fight side by side, I can believe that. And it gives those moments in the actual film more weight for me because I've seen that played out in the series.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the Clone Wars came back with season 7 of the Clone Wars. You did not see every episode of season 7.
No. I didn't really see every episode of
the series
the series ever. So I just saw, like, if you watched it, I was watching it, and I never felt disjointed or like out of place watching it. So it was actually kind of
and I think
nice.
that's fair. I think there's a lot of the Clone Wars. There are episodes that center around Jar Jar and droids and things that I don't care if I ever see them again.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 4 episodes of season 7, play out like the best Star Wars movie
ever.
For sure. And
so good.
Bringing back Ray Park to motion capture Maul in those last couple of episodes and that kind of thing, fantastic. Some of the best lightsaber duels I've seen. Some of the best just emotional stuff tied into those prequels.
Getting to see Order 66.
Absolutely.
That was...
Yeah, fantastic run. So if you've not caught up with all of that, or if you've heard stuff from, not just from us, but from other people about how great it is, take a moment.
Believe them.
Even if you don't watch all of season 7, even if you don't want to give the Clone Wars series a shot, start with those last 4 episodes of season 7 so that you understand what happened just before Revenge of the Sith. See that, and if you like it, then delve into the rest of it.
Absolutely.
That's what I would say. After the Clone Wars finished, after we finished that up, we started watching a new series that we're still watching. It's not concluded yet.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, Heidi?
Defending Jacob.
That's right, and that is on...
Apple Plus?
That's on Apple Plus,
Yay!
absolutely. Which we get free because I purchased a phone.
He did.
So they are not a paid sponsor. We just...
not a sponsor.
No. But I wasn't sure. I mean, I knew, I know Chris Evans can act. I wasn't sure what the story was about. I wasn't sure really what we were getting into, but I watched a trailer or two before the series dropped, and it piqued my curiosity, got me interested, and so we dove in with that first episode, and we were hooked. They dropped 3 episodes
I think
first.
they dropped 3 episodes to start. So you got
and
hooked.
We binged those.
All 3.
And we're hooked, and now it's just waiting for every Friday when a new episode drops to watch that. That and that behind the scenes of The Mandalorian, those both come out on Fridays, and so that's a 1-2 punch for me every Friday. So we definitely recommend Defending Jacob if you've not watched that. It's on Apple Plus. If you don't have Apple Plus, but you've bought an iPhone within the last year, it's possible.
You have Apple Plus.
It's possible that you have Apple Plus. That brings us to something new that we want to try to do for our channel, Pop Pop Fizzle. And it'll give us fodder for things to talk about here on the podcast, too. One thing that we've never been able to do up until this point is full episode reactions. We know a lot of channels do it. We're a fan, by the way. We're a fan of channels that do those reactions. We watch.
We watch reactions.
We watch people watch Doctor Who. We watch people watch Buffy and Steins Gate and the CW shows. And we watch a lot of we watch Blind Wave. Shout out to those guys.
Shout out.
Exactly. We watch
3 women watch Marvel movies.
Storm Akima. We watch. Just shout out all these fellow YouTubers. We've been watching Gazelle watch the Clone Wars and Rebels. We've been watching all kinds of. So we like to watch those things. We've just never done it.
And it's not for lack of wanting.
Right.
We've tossed around ideas of different shows that we'd like to do, but just limited in the technology and the setup that we had to actually do it. And, with the move upcoming, we were like, maybe now's not the time to try to figure that out. And since we're in place, we thought we might.
That's right. So we're going to start with a couple of series. One not old, but one series that's already completed, and then one brand new series that we're going to react to week to week, episode to episode. So right out of the gate, we're going to start with these 2, but we would like to take on more as time allows, and we'd like for you to eventually be a part of making those suggestions. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So our new TV reactions that we're going to start on are Stargirl, which is available on the DC Universe app, and then it's going to be available on CW when CW launches their new shows.
Yeah.
But we'll be a little bit ahead of the curve because we're going to be watching on DC Universe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start watching with episode 1 that just came out this week, and then we're also going to be watching Class. We haven't seen a lot of reactions to Class,
no.
And it is a Doctor Who related show. It's a spinoff show, and we were interested in it right from the get-go. However, We just never, I think we would have had to, it wasn't available in anything that we got at the time.
Yeah, I think we would have had to
purchase each
episode by episode. Mm-hmm. So now that the whole season or series is available, we should be able to get that
and we got it at a highly discounted price on one of the streaming platforms, so I was able to do that.
Also not a sponsor.
Right. And so we're going to start watching that episode to episode as well. Now, on YouTube, the way that's going to work, because of copyright claims and things like that, we're going to have to keep it to under 10 minutes of footage. And for some of these episodes, that means leaving out a lot. We're going to film the whole reaction, but we're just going to edit down to about 10 minutes or so for those reactions, and then maybe a little bit of us talking about our thoughts about that reaction, which is what most of these, reaction channels do. But thank you, Heidi, for pulling the word out of my mind that wasn't coming to me. It's your wifely power.
It is.
But the thing that we are going to do, we have a Patreon channel or a Patreon page. Our Patreon page, and those things will be in the show notes and under this video, but we will do full reactions there. Mm-hmm. They won't have the video of what we're watching. However, there will be a time code so that you can watch along. If you watch Class, if you watch Stargirl, or whatever series we end up taking on in the future, you can watch along with us. And so we're going to make that a tier on Patreon. It's like $5 to join that tier, and you'll get all those. And we'll probably do something similar to what the guys at Blindwave do, which is they offer the first episode for free of a new series. So once we start Stargirl and Class, you'll be able to find those there on Patreon. See if you like them, and then you can jump in and support there if you'd like. If you don't want to support at the $5 level, there's just a $1 level. Just, you enjoy the channel and want to do that, that's great too. Not required. You can find us on YouTube anyway. But it's just a way that you can sponsor and be involved and keep this stuff going. Anyway, and then as we get further down the line, we'll finish Stargirl, we'll finish Class, and then we'll be looking for new things to watch. And that's why being a part of the Patreon community would be helpful, because then you can make some suggestions, and we may have some polls or some voting or something like that, where we offer you maybe 3 or 4 suggestions, things that we're interested in watching, let you guys decide what we watch next, that kind of thing. So if you want to get involved that way, that would be great.
Definitely interested in what y'all have to say.
Yeah, and we're definitely interested in continuing to do this so that we can talk about more subjects at one time. Podcasting is a new thing for us. I know Heidi seemed a little bit unsure of how this would work.
Well, the thing is, we did do like a trial run episode on the YouTube channel where we just did our voices only, and we talked about several topics, and I was fine with that. The trouble is, I don't really listen to a lot. I know a lot of people that I work with listen to podcasts when they're driving or when they're on road trips or something like that, and I just has not been something I've gotten into yet. So for me, it's like, am I the right audience? But does it matter if we're reaching the right audience? So right.
Well, make no mistake, we know that there are a lot of channels out there, a lot of podcasts that talk about the same kind of things that we talk about. We don't think that we're anything special. We just think that we're Jeff and Heidi, and we have a good time talking about what we talk about, and we hope that you enjoy being with us while we talk about it. That's really it.
That's it.
We do not think very highly of ourselves. We do not do this for a living.
No.
This is something that we enjoy doing, so we're doing this for fun. Now, does that mean we don't want you to sponsor us on Patreon? Of course not, because every dollar helps us to continue doing this. But right now, I mean, we're not doing all of the typical YouTuber podcaster things of, this is how we build an audience, this is how we get more people, this is how we do. Like, that's never the thought. It's just, hey, you know what? I miss doing that thing with you where we get on YouTube and talk about movies. Can we do some more of that?
I would love to do more of that.
Yeah, I wasn't asking you right now. I was giving them a for instance. But yeah, so... You and I could just forget people are listening and just talk to each other.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's really how it is for us. We enjoy movies. We enjoy watching TV. We enjoy doing that together and discussing it afterwards. This is really just us inviting you to the party. So we want to continue doing that. And we want to do that both with these full episode reactions, but also continue doing some trailer reactions as the world gets back to normal, if it was ever normal.
No.
And as people start venturing back into the cinemas, we want to be able to react to those trailers and have those discussions as well. So we hope that you will join us on that journey and that you will participate in whatever polls and things that we do. Definitely, you can find us on YouTube all the time. Some segments from this will probably break down and put some of this on YouTube as well, but you're only getting the full thing if you listen to us on the podcast. That's just how we're going to do that from now on. We appreciate you listening. Like Heidi said, we're not big podcast people ourselves. I listen to a few, but they're few and far between, and it's really just about what topics I want to listen to and that kind of thing. But we appreciate you giving us your time and being a part of this with us. We hope that you'll stick around to see what we're up to next, and be sure, and when you have a chance to comment or say something on Twitter or say something. We have a Facebook page.
We do have a Facebook page.
So you can say something to us on any of those things, and all of that stuff will be down in the description or in the show notes.
Absolutely.
As well. And that's it. Did you have anything else to say, honey?
No, I'm just really excited to get back into this, in whatever format it takes.
That's right. So we have not filmed our first show reaction yet. That is coming, hopefully this week. That would be the best birthday present for me, is if we could get some of that done. But we are going to get those done and get them up as soon as possible. And then we'll be back with another podcast, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And we'll see. The podcasting, we're not going to really schedule per se. We're just going to wait until we have enough content to talk about. If we wanted to talk about like business stuff and not stuff that we appreciate as fans and viewers, then we could probably do this every day. That's not really where we are, and it's not really what interests us. We want to talk about the things that we're interested in. So probably every 2 weeks or so, you can expect to see a new podcast from us. And of course, if you subscribe to the podcast, then you'll get a notification whenever there's a new episode up. Until next time, that's it for us.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.